Hello, friends. Crystal here, your vibrant BF, and we are back for week 3. Can you believe it? We are moseying right along for June joy. How are we feeling in the body? So we just had a new moon in Gemini, super moon they call it. Not a full moon, it's a new moon. And I am a Virgo stellium, which is ruled by Mercury as well as Gemini. So I am definitely feeling the energy of this moon. It's moon, it's about the emotion and all that jazz. But I have been transmitting and moving the energy all day. And I'm excited about today's topic. We are leaning into gratitude, specifically some teachings from Neville Goddard. But before we get into that, what do we do when we come together? We ground ourselves in this present moment. So I just want you to sit back, roll your shoulders back, and take a deep breath in. Hold and exhale. Let's do one more deep breath in. Hold and exhale. Welcome. Welcome, friends. It's Crystal here, your vibrant BF. Let's do a redo. All right. So I wanted to first open up with a quote. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. It came from, I don't even write who it was from. It was on my meditation app. But I just thought it was so perfect for June joy as we have been navigating through. And remember that one of the big key points. Okay, I can't talk. Gemini. Mercury? Are we about to go in Mercury retrograde? Which I think we are actually. Take a deep breath. I'm not even going to edit that out. We're just going to keep it all natural. But one of the key components of June joy is writing in our gratitude, our joy journal, every night. Because gratitude is an attitude. It opens us up for more abundance, more expansion. It raises our frequency, which we talked about last week. So I thought it was perfect. So today, this week, I wanted to really cover some teachings from Neville Goddard. That's something that has been kind of downloaded into my spirit, is really leaning into more of the law of assumption to be specific, to really narrow it down. Sorry, something in my eye. So Neville Goddard, if you never heard of him, he was kind of like the forefather of like manifestation and the way he taught different things. And I found out he was born and raised in Barbados, which is very interesting. But his theory is the power of human imagination, which he identified as the divine spark. And that the external word is a projection of our individual internal mental state. So basically, he really focused on what we think about in the inside is what we kind of see on the outside. So basically, your perception is your reality in so many words. So this can be summarized by one of his famous phrases that said, "Everyone is you pushed out," right? So what you're getting out or what you're putting out is what you're getting back. So I wanted to start by going over some personal quotes of Neville Goddard, okay? These are some of his famous ones. There's plenty. He's an extensive philosopher in many different things, but these are the ones I really want to focus on this week. So, all you can possibly need or desire is already yours. I'm going to say that again. All you could possibly need or desire is already yours. I am personally a huge believer in this. I would say everything you need is already inside of you. You know, we get so used to outsourcing our joy, our happiness, our guidance, our all these things but everything we need is already inside of us. All of our needs or desires is already ours. What you're seeking is seeking you. That's a Rumi quote. So there's a lot of things that kind of go together. So call your desires into being by imagining and feeling as the wish being fulfilled. Here we are already starting to sample about the law of assumption, which kind of leads us into our next quote. Control of your feelings is the secret to a full and happy life. Now, if language can trigger you in different ways, maybe control, but understanding aligning, how about that, into the feelings is a secret to a full and happy life. So our ideas are impressed on the subconscious through the medium of feelings. That is really what charges us to do, act, behave, whatever we're doing, is the emotion, the feeling behind it. There's no idea that can be impressed through the subconscious unless it's felt. And this is why it's so important we talk about imagination. This is part of June joy, right? Having that curiosity, daydreaming, but really imagining. It's the play. I mean, think about kids, right? When we think about June joy, which was about getting back to the basics, the simple things, the ease of being a kid. I mean, you could give a kid a stick and it's a wand and it's a cane and it's a magical castle and it's just all these things and it's just a stick, but in their mind they're imagining and believing it to be all these different things. So be it good or bad or indifferent, it must be expressed. So this leads us into the RAS, which I talk about pretty extensively, our reticular activating system, that helps us to bring forth what it is we really want to focus on. So the RAS doesn't know, it's not good or bad. The universe isn't thinking little and big. It's not the same thing. We give kind of language or emotion to different things, right? So when we are focusing on something, we want to focus on what we do want. This is like manifestation 101, belief 101. You want to focus on what you do want, because where your energy goes, right? That's what you start to bring into fruition. That's what grows. That's what expands, be it good or bad. So if you are constantly thinking about, I gotta lose weight, I gotta live this, like, okay, you will stay in this perpetual cycle. I need more money. I need more. You will stay in this cycle. But if you start living from the place, back to the other quote, of the wish being fulfilled, tapping into the law of assumption, it opens you up to start seeing it from another space, right? So if you already act like it's done. So for example, say there's students, it's just recently summer vacation, who are graduating. They've graduated, right? But there were times in school whether they were like, I don't know, or I'm really stressed out, or am I going to pass this final? But if you can live from the place of seeing yourself walking across the stage and how you feel so accomplished and so proud and how excited your family and friends are, that is the place to live from, versus just like, I can't get up and go to school again today or finish another final or whatever it is. But we want to live from that place of it already being done. That way, it puts us into that emotion state, the feeling state, even deeper, so that we can embody it and identify, become the identity of the person who is a graduate, right? I'm just using that one as an example, but it's anything. A person who is an athlete, a person who is a reader, a person who is fill in the blank, whatever it is you're desiring, it's already yours. What you are seeking is seeking you. So if you already want or desire, not want indicates lack, and lack is a gap. But whatever it is your desire is the reason, because there's a reason, because whatever it is you are desiring, there's a version of you who already has achieved it, right? Has already walked that stage, has already become that best-selling novel, who has already become a pianist, who has already become the teacher, who has already become the doctor, who has already became the mother, wife, whatever it is that you are desiring. All right, so let's go into more here. Let's see. Become the master of your assumption. Okay. The drama of life is a psychological one in which all of the conditions and events of our life are brought to pass by your assumption. I'm going to say that again. It's a psychological one. Everything that we basically are thinking and believing is what we create. I know it sounds so crazy, but a perfect representation of this is you looking in a mirror. And we can talk about a little bit about that, about the power of mirror work. You can sit and stare in the mirror, and if you're straight faced, there will be no smile unless what? You smile first. You have to put that action step. And when you smile, it's going to reflect back to you, that smile. So basically, whatever we are projecting out, whatever we believing to be so, whatever we are embodying, whatever we are feeling into in that wish fulfilled, that is what we're going to get back. It really is that simple. It's like, if it's this simple, why do we struggle so much? Because we live on planet Earth, and planet Earth is very dense and it's heavy, and we forget our magic and our power and our imagination and how powerful we are and how much we can impact our lives, and how we don't have to outsource what is right, what is wrong, what do I need to do. We can just lean into our intuition, our true selves, our alignments, our identities of that person already living in that frequency state. All right, so to become the master of your assumptions, the key to undreamed freedom and happiness. I thought this was such a unique way of saying it, an undreamed freedom. So there's this gentleman on social medias. His entity's name is Bashar. That's what he goes by, and he was, I think, really big in like the 80s and 90s. And he would go around and speak, and he would basically embody this entity and talk about us and our life here on Earth. And one of the things he talks about, because this one little kid was like, "Can you tell me the secret to life?" But he basically talks about similar to this. Like, you think, if I could just get, I don't know, this promotion, my life would be so set. And in retrospect, that is not even the lowest of what is possible to you. But in your mind, because all you can go off of is what you've seen, what you think is available to you, that's not even the bottom. So to live in a state of undreamed freedom. So I like to say everything is working out for me greater than my wildest dreams. So even your wildest dreams, like, oh my God, what if I XYZ? That could be the bottom because, right? So just really opening yourself up to undreamed freedom and happiness. Another quote is, you must be willing to give up your present limitations. Ooh, right there. You must be willing to give up your present limitations. I'm going to say that again. You must be willing to give up your present limitations. I'm going to say it another. Stop fighting for your limitations. What if, how? And I love how it said present limitations, because guess what? You're going to reach another level, another deeper expansion. And it's going to be another thing like, oh, well, I've already done that. I can't have this too. Or I already went there. I can't do that too. Why? Who said? There's no such thing as little and big. The universe isn't on a budget. The universe doesn't think that way. Only as one is willing to give up his present limitations and identity can he become that which he desires to be. I'm going to say that again. Only as one is willing to give up his present limitations and identity can he become that which he desires to be. This is the big piece, the identity of whatever it is you're desiring to be. There was an autobiography on Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think he was in his 70s, whatever. And they were like, he was talking about his routine. He works out every day. And they're like, you work out every day? And it was like, yes, of course I work out every day. Like, that's all I've known for the last 65 plus years, like that's what I do is work out every day. That's his identity. It's not even something like that would be like me being a Black woman. That's my identity. I mean, of course I'm a Black woman. Like, that's what I am. But it could be to so many things. Of course, I'm a accomplished pianist. Of course, I'm a world-renowned speaker. Of course, I'm a world-class chef. Of course, I'm an expert traveler. Of course, you fill it in the blank, whatever that identity is. And then you just embody and you think and you feel from that space. You live from that wish fulfilled. Another one, the last one, is the law of assumption. Manifestation principle that whatever you assume or believe to be true with unwavering conviction will eventually become your physical reality. Again, manifestation principle that whatever you assume or believe to be true with unwavering conviction will eventually become your physical reality. Key words here, unwavering conviction. You really have to lock that in. There's nothing you can tell me that says I'm not a Black woman. It's done. So I'm going to live from that space of that truth. And anything that I desire, I'm going to put that type of identity, that type of concrete evidence that it already is. I'm going to live from that space. There's nothing that I'm just going to be a Black woman. Like, I get up and that's what I do. That's who I am. That's my identity. And whatever you assume or believe, right? I love that. With unwavering conviction will eventually become your reality, because the thing is, it has no other way but to become that. The universe has to conspire to to get that to you, because that's what you believe. And that's just the law of assumption. That's just how this universe works, just like gravity, just like anything else. So if you assume, and you know what, say what you will about the melon felon, that law, that mindset of belief, my God, from game show host, convict, felt to president. I mean, that's a deep level of assumption and belief. I'm not a fan by any means, but I'm just saying, like, this is the type of Delulu. This is the type of, like, it is. Of course, I won. What? Well, that's a little maybe extreme, but I'm just saying, like, he was so confident that he was a president by any means, and he literally now has that title. So live in the end, thinking, feeling, acting as though your desire has been fulfilled. That is what the law of assumption is really about, living in the end. And not just living in the end, but living in the end of it being the natural state, right? So say, for example, oh my gosh, how would it feel like if I won the lottery, for example? Not just living from the place of what it would feel like to win the lottery, what it feels like to have won the lottery for the last 5 years. Like, right? You won the lottery 5 years ago, and this is just your new life. And this is just how you live, living from that state. So certain, so grounded, so rooted in the identity of the person who, oh yeah, I won the lottery about 10 years ago and it changed my life. And this is how I live. And this is what I do. And this, like, that type of very rooted, neutral, very settled in your nervous system energy, living from that end state. All right. Here are some key concepts that Neville Goddard also talks about. Identity over desire. Less about focusing on specific outcome and more about assuming the general identity of the person from the life of whom it all works out, similar to what I just said. So you're like, oh, this is just what it is. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. And I'm going to become a quadrillionaire because I'm going to do this and this and this and this. It's like, I don't really know what and how that happens. This is just who I am. I became a quadrillionaire. And it could be like, oh my God, I've heard stories. I'm not speaking this, but I got hit by a bus and then I got this settlement. Or a loved one died and left me all this money I had no idea they even had. Or it doesn't have to be extreme, but it could be anything, right? It's like, oh, I happened to join this company and then it was bought up by this person and they didn't want me anymore. And then they gave me this huge settlement to kind of get me out because I had these shares. I mean, it could look so many different ways. So not necessarily saying this is exactly in a specific way of how I have to get there. This is just the identity of who I am. This is just what I have. This is just what I do. The present state. Don't wait for the 3D world to change. Instead, change your eternal state and assumptions, which forces your external reality to mirror your new beliefs. This is similar to actually looking in the mirror. You have to smile first to get that reflection back. So you living as the person who XYZ is going to mirror back to you and your present day reality. Be clear of your highest version. Yeah, you have to know what it is that you even desire. Like, what does that even look like? And more times than not, it's not the stuff. It's how do you want to feel? A lot of people are like, I want to be a multimillionaire. And it's not necessarily need to be a multimillionaire. It's just they want to feel safe and they want to be able to live in the overflow and be able to be financially unburdened by anything and be able to help family, to provide different mutual aids or whatever that is. That's really the feeling, is being part of the community and being able to support and being able to help and being able to have that bandwidth that money, financial strains may take and play the toll on you, and release that into more openness, more expansion, more abundance, more overflow, because that is really where we should be pouring from, is the overflow, right? Visualize the wish fulfilled. So we imagine while engaging all senses. So like I was saying earlier about walking, it's not just walking across the stage to get your diploma, which is incredible. Great. Like, start there if that's what you need. That's wonderful. Of what it feels like. Oh my God. How does the diploma feel in your hand? What did you hear? What were this cheering? What did you see? How did your heart feel? What did you smell? Really engaging all the senses. If you can give yourself 2 minutes a day of your most ideal dream life, what does it feel like in your body when you wake up? What pajamas are you wearing? What do the sheets feel like? What does the room smell like? When you open your window, what does that look out? What do you look outside to? What do you smell downstairs in your kitchen? What is happening? If you can engage all senses, it really helps to bring it into the 3D reality. Okay, this is what I desire. This is what I'm believing. This is what I'm holding. This is the vibration. This is the energy. This is the daydream. This is the feeling. This is the happiness. This is the ease. This is the peace. This is the joy. This is the creativity. You get the point. Leaning into that is where magic happens. So I really hope that you can really just deeply ground into the law of assumption and living from the end state of it already being done. You already have been whatever that is for the last 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years. This is just my normal life. This is just my normal existence. Yes, I go and do mission work every 6 months. Yes, I live part of my time in this country. Yes, I fill in the blank. So I really want you to repeat after me with some of Neville Goddard's statements, okay? I want you to repeat after me. I am wealth. I am health. I am love. I am peace. I am purpose. I am power. And I do not hope for these things. I embody them. I'm going to say it again. I am wealth. I am health. I am love. I am peace. I am purpose. I am power, and I do not hope for these things. I embody them. So let's just take a moment to embody this emotion state of living in that end state, of holding the identity of the person who fill in the blank. And I am is two of the most important words because it's a command statement to your body. It speaks to the root chakra, which is like the beginning. We can go up from there. Each chakra has a different 2 words. I am, I feel, I see, I do. But I am is the beginning. And it really sets you in a space of receiving and holding that identity. So whenever you say, I am fill in the blank. And you always want to come from that state of what you do want, not what you hope and you wish and maybe, but what I am, not what I desire. I said want. No, remember, it's part of the language, right? Like rewiring our language. I am a person. I am a woman who gets everything she desires that is in her highest alignment, right? I am a woman that gets everything she desires of her highest alignment that's past her wildest dreams. I am a woman who lives an illogical life. Like, I don't know how you did that. How on earth did you get this? Because I embodied it. How on earth did you get this? Because I embody it. Because I live from that identity state. Because I believe it to be done. Because I assume for it to be done. Because I live from the end state. All right, I would love to hear from you. How are you feeling on week 3? Drop one of the comments, statements that was really resonant to you. And remember to continue showing up 2 to 3 times a week, scheduling your joy, writing every night. And just keep living in your joy. Keep choosing joy. Until next week, bye-bye.